Well, since I wrote that book in 2008, it was published in 2009, uh, a lot has changed in the general circumstances around the world. There's been a huge increase in public awareness since 2008 with the financial meltdown and the crisis that has spread around the world since then. And Bitcoin has come on the scene. It's not important as an answer to the problem, but it is important in helping people to become more aware of the problems in the money system and the possibilities of alternative means of exchange. So those are the biggest changes. But also, since writing that book in 2008, there have been changes in the developmental aspects of money and exchange. There's been a maturing in the process of credit clearing and a maturity in the process of private currencies in general. So we've seen a lot of local projects pop up around the world, local currencies that have become more successful than their predecessors, improvements in the credit clearing process that have enabled trade exchanges to be more effective and to reach a higher scale. It's still a small portion of what is potentially possible, but it's improved quite a bit. Well, if I were to write the book today or to write a revised edition of it, I think I would emphasize more the possibilities of government. You know, I've always said that I'm not a reformer. I'm a monetary transformer. I'm looking at transitioning to new methods of mediating the exchange process. So when you talk about money as being, well, what they teach in school as being a means of exchange, a store of value, and a measure of value, I've been arguing for 25 years that these three things are entirely separate and need to be handled separately. Money is pure and simple a means of exchange. And so when we look at complementary currencies and alternative forms of money, what we're talking about is alternative means of exchange. So we have lots of community currencies that have popped up, and we have lots of credit clearing exchanges like LETS in different places around the world, like the TEM in Greece, like Sardex here in Italy, and commercial trade exchanges that have proliferated all over the world. So we're talking about improvements in this process. I would really like to teach a graduate level course in exchange and finance innovation, because there are so many new things that are being developed that can help us to transcend the problems that we're in today with the dominant paradigm. And I've articulated the details of that on my website, beyondmoney.net. There's a menu at the top, and one of the menu items is educational services. And in that menu item, I detail the different things that I would do in this graduate level course. Basically, it would be an experiential course where the students would be expected to dig a lot of material out from the available sources. So they would have to be doing a lot of research on their own. And I would want this to be a group of students that are highly motivated to do innovative exchange and finance. So some of the things that I would have them look at are, first of all, the central banking system and what is the true purpose of a central bank. Secondly, how do you handle the different functions that money is supposed to have? As I said, exchange medium, store of value, and measure of value. And I said those need to be separated, and how would you separate those? And things of that sort that I think have been badly neglected in conventional economic teachings and teachings in finance and money. The trade exchange industry in the United States is more than 40 years old, and there have been commercial trade exchanges that have come and gone. There's been a lot of weeding out of the fraudulent and ineffective systems. Now, most of the systems in operation are fairly well run, although there still is a range of things that could be done a lot better. But mainly the answer to your question is the reason why trade exchanges in the United States have not had a greater impact, have not reached a higher scale, is because of complacency. Most of these trade exchanges are operated as for-profit businesses by a small entrepreneurial group, and they're pretty much content with the level of business that they're doing and the level of profit that they're making. Another thing is an unwillingness to risk what they have to venture into something new and unknown. One of the things that they need to do is to find better ways of networking their exchanges together. But before they can do that, they need to develop standardized procedures and protocols for allocating credit lines to their members. If they don't do that, you're going to have differences in the value of credits in one exchange from the value of credits in another exchange. So by coming up with a set of standard procedures and protocols, especially for allocating credit lines to members, then you will have the possibility of networking together in a way that makes it easy for one member of one exchange to trade with members of another exchange. So those are the main things that are happening. There are also some problems with huge system debt in some systems. For example, a lot of system operators will allocate credit to members beyond what is reasonable. And they do this as a way of attracting new members. And as a result, they end up with too many credits in the system. Or they trade on their own account and they buy up things and run up a huge deficit on their own account, which then debases the value of those credits. So this is still a problem in some exchanges. These are the main reasons why the systems have not reached a higher level. Well, I don't make a distinction between the American exchanges and the European exchanges. There have been trade exchanges operating in Europe for a long time, as well as in the rest of the world. However, since 2009, as you point out, there have been additional systems popping up. And this often happens in conditions of uncertainty or economic difficulty that people are more ready to try out alternative processes and to look at new paradigm approaches to things. So that's been the case with exchange as well. I think Sardex, what you're doing here, is a cut above the rest. I'm very impressed with the results that you've managed to achieve here and with the processes that you employ in making sure that credit lines are appropriate and making sure that you bring in new members that have something of value to offer to the rest of the network. So these are very important practices that need to be extended to the rest of the industry. Now I'm hoping that others will learn from your experience and follow your lead.